law. We have not adjourned. We are now back in regular session purposes. I appreciate you making notes of that in your minutes. We're all ready for Mr. Chairman.
You ready, David?
Yes.
Okay, we'll start with Joe Lancaster.
Yeah. So, keeping with the CAD, Spillman CAD integration we got coming up in July, it's going to be necessary that we include GPS and mapping with that. So we already pay T-Mobile a monthly fee for GPS stuff right now. I wanted to switch over to Verizon. It's going to be a better service, but it's be a contract. So I'm going to include that in the upcoming October budget, but we're going live July the 15th, and I would like to go ahead and get a Verizon contract signed in the meanwhile, so we can go ahead and start implementing it, because we get CAD up and running. Pay about $8,700 a year on the T-Mobile, and the Verizon will be about $11 a year cost difference. But and I would recommend, and Chris and I were supposed to talk, that we cancel our T-Mobile payments or contracts just as soon as we get the other in place. But anyway, any questions on that? That's all I've got.
You good? I'm good. All right. I guess Billy is, he's not here. He's good. He's all right. Okay, Eric.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few quick updates this evening. Rogers Group started paving for us last Wednesday. Paved downtown Waterloo. We have rain Thursday. It was too wet Friday. They paved on Saturday, and they're paving again today. So they have started. Just so you kind of know, their order, they're on County Road 1 right now. They're going to go to 149, 158, 81, 15, 118, 61, 30, 27, 34, 73, and on down the line. The reason I tell you that list, I know we've had several calls about 27, very busy road. We did a lot of repair work on it. The base on that road was in bad shape. We went in and paved sections that we repaired. They're in good shape now. And then Rogers Group will go in and pave the entire road. So we're getting a lot of calls about, are you guys going to come back and finish this? But the contractor will do that. So by my math, I think they've got about 67 working days left to do they've got about 47 miles left. And so they've told me that they're going to have 2 crews going, and so which will really help them a lot. But we've given them a pretty hard deadline of October 1st. It's got to be done. It's got to be done.
What do you do about 50? Going to do 50?
48.4 miles. That's what we got this time. So, not that I'm counting right. But yeah, we've been very upfront with those guys. We do not want what happened last year to happen this year, where we get to October and we're still not done. Next thing I've got, we talked about this briefly last time. We've got our bids out right now for the dump truck repair on the truck that was damaged in the wreck, and so that'll be something we'll open the next meeting. And then the last thing I've got, just kind of a heads up, it doesn't need any official action, but we're closing out our HR 2 project there at Middle Road. As we've gotten to the end of that, we've made several changes along the way in that project. That Scooter's Coffee, what they built was a little bit different than exactly what their design showed, and so we had meshed our design with their design, but it didn't just work perfect. So we had to go back in and do some other stuff. And so Goodwill Mills and Kaywood, who's done our management on that project, they've requested at the end, with leftover funds in the project at no cost to us, that we increase the C&I budget. Basically, that's something else I would do. I would just be basically sending a letter of recommendation for that. And so that is something I would recommend. They've went above and beyond, and we've had a lot of things on that project that were just, we never dreamed of when we first started, so, so this will help them out some, so. And Mr. Chairman, that's all I've got.
Oh, are we gonna do in-house on that little turning lane off the road?
We can, there's some utility conflicts there.
Yeah.
There's some pretty serious utility conflicts there, so we gotta get that taken care of. And also, we gotta nail down who maintains that. Yeah.
I know it's easy.
Yeah, yeah. They don't want us to pave on top of it, but I don't see the problem personally. It's in the ground. It's gonna be it's a field section about 3 foot tall right there anyway, so. But I need to circle back with them on that.
Well, they didn't wanna move the gas out of the middle to start with, and we can pay on top of it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's,
They
but I'll,
changed their mind.
yeah, I'll circle back on that.
You'd think they would want it, because eventually they're probably on the road in
Yeah.
time, so.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, could I start a conversation with Eric, and right before you go into Tom's report? I've been, and maybe some of the other commissioners have too, but I've had numerous calls about debris on the sides of the road, storm damage type debris, and I know Eric is just covered up with work they're paving all over the county and that sort of thing. And Eric, I was just wondering maybe if you and Tom, both of y'all have some trucks that can pick up that type debris that's laying on the side of the road. If y'all might could get together and somehow work together on picking up some of that stuff.
We're getting calls on that now. We're trying to, we picked up some stuff for him today.
It's, I got several calls, and I called Eric about it, and then I got more calls today, and so I just think we need to do an effort to get some of that. I know Eric's trying to bush hog with some of them. There's places where the limbs are on the sides of the road, you can't even cut the grass.
One of the problems, and I'm not speaking for Eric, but one of the problems that I've run into is there's things that cross the roads, and you had fire departments come out there and cut them, and just got them out of the way, and
That's right.
nobody,
And
and nobody knows they're there.
Even
You know?
good citizens are pulling some of that out of the way.
And they just cut them up and get them, push them out, and we never get calls on them.
But
You know, so-
I would like to encourage y'all to maybe get together and just talk and see if there's something y'all might could work out to help
Well,
each
usually
other.
they've been good about it. If they go out and cut, if we've got a big one we can't do, they'll go out and cut it up, and then we'll go back and get it. So,
Eric, talk a little bit about work orders and where kind of you are as far as storm debris now. I think I've had some calls too about how close, and like he said, there may be citizens pulling them off, but the proximity from the right of way to the road. Wettest spring I probably ever remember, right? So what could we do to help you, or what kind of right now in this unusual circumstance?
The hard part for us is, it's just been so wet, and you don't think that matters, cutting up trees, but it does. You know, like last week, we had a day where it rained all day, and, you know, we had talked about sending guys out, but from a safety standpoint, it's really hard to stick a guy in a ditch on the side of the road in rainy conditions with a chainsaw. You're asking a lot. Plus, our loader, I mean, our guy's up top, right, and so it's, you know, slick, and so in the rain's tough. And really the hard part for us right now is just that, I mean, everything we've got is going toward paving. I mean, it's the season. I mean, it's the time. So like, to be able to get paving done in the sweet spot of the year when you can do it at its best, and all the plants are running at full capacity. And so it's just, we just haven't been able to get to the work order.
Unless they're a safety issue, right? Anything
Sure.
that sounds like that,
Sure.
something like that comes up, that takes
Yeah,
precedence.
sure. Like Tom said, a lot of those, if a good citizen cuts them or whatever, and they just cut them at the white line, we don't even know about it. That's the ones that are hard for us.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but we do have people chasing those down, and if they see one that's dangerous, we would definitely get it.
Tom?
On that note, we were talking about what we've done. So far this month, we run 300, I wrote that down because it was amazing to me. We run 357 stops for yard debris just before this week. That's just the 1st of June. We had 137 2 weeks ago that we did. So it's been, I mean, I don't know that we've had a week so far in this spring that there hadn't been some kind of storm somewhere. And a lot of them we're having to go back. Usually we run 4 days a week. We're running 5 days a week now, and I'm having to pay overtime 2 or 3 days where they're having to stay over to pick up as much as they can. So, I mean, we're doing the best we can to get them, you know. So, but that's,
You know, I know y'all do that by call
Mhm.
when they come in.
Yeah.
You know, even if the guys were traveling
and that's
from
what.
County Road X to County Road Y and saw some trees on the side of the
Yeah.
road, if they just go ahead and get them.
Well, I know, and that's some of the stuff they've been doing is they've been, when they go into subdivisions, they say, if they're not on the call list, they go ahead and pick it up.
Good.
Except we have one that's out there that we can't. But anyway, we're, you know, they're busting their hump right now trying to get all these stuff. There's just so much out there.
Just to add to that, at 319, we had a call come through 911 for a tree in the road on County Road 89. It's been so wet that we're getting trees down just every day. I mean, one of my guys worked 20 hours over the weekend.
Yeah, they're any kind of wet, I mean, any kind of weather, they're blowing over right now. And again, and I had a call the other day, and I went out and looked at the guy's house. He said, I've been on vacation, I come in, and there's a tree that's, I can't reach around laying here in the yard, what I need to do with it. He said, how did it get here? I said, I guarantee that was the fire department, because it was across the road, and they cut it and got it out of the way. So I told him, I said, cut it up, and I'll come back and get it. So, but, you know, we know about it, we're trying to get it out. St. Florian called us the other day, and I rode out there. Now, there's a spot down there close to Mount Zion. If that wasn't a tornado, I don't know. I mean, this tree's just twisted down there, and I don't know how you get them out. There's a ditch down there, so that you couldn't get in. Garner might could fly down there.
So you're a weatherman, man.
I am. It had barbed wire ripped all around it. But, you know, I understand, and we're doing all we can with it, so, and we'll keep after it till we get it, so. Only other thing, we had an incident at the landfill, not this Friday, or not this Sunday, but Sunday before last. Apparently, our debris pile our mulch pile got struck by lightning on Friday. And I got a call, they heard something hit somewhere out there and they had no idea where it was. So Sunday afternoon, I got a call from 911 that the gentleman that lived behind us was upset because the tree line was on fire and it was getting dangerously close to his house. And he thought it was fixing to burn his house down. So I got out there and it was still in the mulch, and it was from this part of that wall before we ever got across the road, it got to the tree line, so it wasn't, but it was smoking really good and there was flames visible. So I called 2 operators in, they came out, we got it taken care of. About 6 o'clock at night, the wind started picking up again, and I got a call again, and it was back up. One of the guys went up there and checked it. So we got it back out and worked till 8:30, and then I stayed there all night with it, and watched it to make sure it didn't smoke back, come back up. And at 5 or 5:30, when the other guys came in, they leveled everything out and got it all out. So there's nothing to it, nothing happened, but they actually saw where the lightning went down. He said it went straight down in it, was what caused it. And the rain that we had that Friday and Saturday didn't help any, because it just packed it down. And then if you notice, that's the weekend it got so humid after the rain. You couldn't breathe hardly, it was so humid, and it just all combusted. But anyway, luckily that was taken care of, and all that was lost was sleep. So I started to call Garner, said he wanted to stay with me, but
Should've come.
you wouldn't answer.
He still should've come.
Only other thing, I talked to y'all the other day about we're involved with a hazardous waste pickup. This is information we've got on it. It's July the 12th.
That's what we could bring poison. That's what-
Right here's got everything on it you can bring and can't bring and don't need to bring. I think I got one people that I get to see. Let me make sure I got all these here.
Even old paint can?
Even on paper. Because they'll have a big tank right there that you dump this stuff in. So we'll start getting the word out. I'll give it to Alicia and we'll put it on her
And that's just
website.
the Coliseum?
Coliseum, it'll be a drive-through, where they just drive through the parking lot, dump it in, go on. Somebody will be there for the 4 hours with them. I'll be down there.
I mean, will they have like technicians that'll pour it for you, or you need to?
That I'm not sure. I'm sure it's where you can just put it in there yourself, or they'll put it in if it's older people or whatever. I'm assuming that's the reason I'm gonna be there.
I have hazmat suit on that day.
So, but this last year, they had a really good response. They had a whole lot of county residents. So and we get numerous calls every day about pesticides or what to do with paint or, whatever. So this is a chance to get rid of it and be done with it. So, anyway, and I appreciate y'all letting us get involved in it. I think it's something really positive. So, that's all I got.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple things to bring you up to speed on. Tonight on the agenda for the regular meeting, there is a proposal to move forward with the nurse navigation that we've talked about. Just as a refresher, the upfront cost is $70,000, which will be split evenly between the city and the county, and then a per call fee of $80 per 911 call that's transferred to the nurse navigation program. So how that breaks down for the county would be an initial startup cost of $35,000 to the county. We estimate approximately 40 calls per month from the county would go into that system, so the monthly cost would be about $3,200. Annual yearly cost is about $38,400. Now that's in comparison to adding a single ambulance to the system, which would cost about $954,000 per year. So $954,000 versus $95,000. What we think that this will do is increase the number of available ambulances by about 1.5 ambulances per day addition to the system. So if you take that into consideration with the fact that the NAMC ambulance is also part of the 911 system now, then we end up netting an additional 2.5 ambulances at an extremely minimal cost. The resolution that's on the agenda tonight is contingent upon the City of Florence passing a similar resolution. Their process is different than the county's process in that it has to go before Public Safety Committee. Public Safety Committee has to sign off on it, then it goes to Finance Committee. Once Finance Committee signs off on it, then it goes to the council, and so we're still in the process of those committee meetings. So tonight's resolution doesn't obligate you to anything unless the city passes the same resolution. And as we've discussed, the agreement would be a one-year agreement. So it would give us a test opportunity to ensure that it's going to work the way that we believe that it's going to work. And if it does, then with an option to increase that contract up to 3 years. At the same time, Mr. Smith, Mr. Musgrave, and myself met last week to discuss the ambulance authority, healthcare authority, or whatnot. It was a very good meeting. Mr. Musgrave and Mr. Smith are looking at several options, including the fact that the hospital authority is still active. That was never closed out by the city and the county. And so that may be a way to get back into the conversation without necessarily having to go through the legislature. But all of those things are still on the table, and Mr. Musgrove and Mr. Smith will continue working through that. Only other thing that I have just for awareness, I'm meeting tomorrow night with the chiefs from Killen, Green Hill, Mid-Lauderdale, and Center Star with the pending change in the weight restrictions on Happy Hollow Bridge. It necessitates some conversation about jurisdictional lines, particularly because Mid-Lauderdale's fire jurisdiction expands to the other side of Happy Hollow. And so if Happy Hollow is decreased down to a 7 or 8 ton limit, then we've got a little bit of an issue there. So we're meeting with all of the parties involved. The meeting was actually initiated by Green Hill. which was a good thing. And I'm happy that, that Chief Gray up there is coming to the table with this so that we can fix not only that, but between Killen, Lexington, and Center Star, there's a lot that's happening. Lexington is in the process of selling their Station 2. So there's going to be some areas within Lexington's jurisdiction that it's going to take a significant amount of time to get to. Center Star has expressed some interest in increasing their jurisdiction to the north and covering some of that they're already covering anyway. Same with Killen. So we're going to start that conversation on Tuesday, hopefully have something hashed out. If you'll recall, the way that that process works is once the chiefs come up with it and we draw a legal description to the standard at which the commission is happy with, then I bring those jurisdictional lines to the commission signs off of them, and then I file them with state forestry, and forestry gives the blessing, and then we implement them. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Other than what we previously discussed, just want to hear back from Taylor Brooks on board education progress on the MOU, workforce development, and sent out the first email for contact with UNA. And I will, if I hear back from them later in the week, I'll go ahead and let y'all know via email. But hopefully that's going to move quickly now.
All right, we'll let the department heads do it.
Thanks, everybody. You too.
You too. Kim C. What do you do? Eric, what's that last road number we paid for something?
We'll do a display at Community Days.
Well, I thought it was.
That's a
Very, very tough on it. Hello, sir. How you doing today? When you come on,
we'll develop a book.
There's a couple over there, son. See you over there.
Stay look, see what we can do. So there's 1,250 options.
So when did you get that?
So each year we do.
I was that math.
Somebody will ask her.
I can see 15 years.
So that would be, we try to do it all, try to do one every 15.
Well, yeah, and I think he was, I know Mr. Pettis, what was that number of miles? 1,350 miles of road in the county?
Oh,
Got 1,200.
it was 1293 paved at one time. We paved, but that would take off, the ones we paved would take off from the 200 gravel. But it's probably 1,300 approximately. That's paved, and less than 200 is not.
What now? Do 86 miles.
So is there, what he was trying to figure out, there's a formula for every year you do so many to try to get them in a rotation, I guess, every so 15 years or whatever.
15 is good to do that.
You know, we're on at least a 30-year cycle.
And in the commission training, I think I've shared with most of y'all that a lot of the commissioners in southern counties are telling me they're going back to dirt roads,
Yeah,
turning them up, going back to dirt, can't afford
We
it.
don't have to.
So we're very fortunate.
Where we are.
A good gravel road is a lot better than a bad paved road.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can do something about that gravel,
That's right.
trade some of these paved roads.
It's like playing with a basketball that's lost all its grip outside. We're athletics folks.
So far, we
Slick.
can pave, you know, carry out 100 yards. Up at the concrete down and pave it. I mean, that's really helped extend life.
One of the things,
Before, it was 2 miles long, we paved 2 miles if we don't.
Yeah.
You know,
some of the roads that I travel with all this rain, I noticed where they had went in and trimmed up stuff overhanging the roads. Say in March, it is now grown completely back. So what used to give them a year's break is now a canopy over the road again with all this rain. It's unbelievable. Probably the wettest spring I ever remember.
All right.
I don't really have much anything. I talked to the probate judge about possibly putting a doorway in. And, in her office, it's the front. About $1,800.
And the doorways, what's that doing?
Where her office is and where the front is, when she's having court, there's no privacy and people
Oh,
can
yeah,
hear.
okay, I remember that.
So she's gone and looked at some doors, it'll be about $1,800, we can ask if we can. And then changing the coding system outside of the door, because a lot of people come and use them with codes. So
Is that in her chamber or in her office?
it's right in the back, she said it's where her office is.
Because there's two doors going into her office now.
It's the one where the hallway goes. It's been quiet.
Good move for him.
Yeah. Or is she wanting us to do it now? Does she have it in her budget?
Just gonna get
I'm good with it.
Okay, everybody?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What else is new?
It's hot outside.
That it is.
On the,
That it is.
any word on the Wells Fargo bill?
Craig has not called me back. I've left a message, to kind of see how we stand on it. But I'm not getting anything back right now.
One thing I got is, on a resolution, it was just a misprint, giving Founder's Day $6,000.
That was what they've asked for this time. Normally it's 5,000. They bumped it up to 6. And we just need direction going to 5 or 6.
We want to go to 6 with one in.
Kind of set the precedent for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
If they start paying the alcohol, we can go up 6.
On everybody, yeah.
Okay.
So like, what do you think, John?
Okay, I think that was Commissioner Black's idea.
Oh.
Like, what do you think? Like.
Glad you worked.
Well, I mean, you know, here's the thing, y'all, if we do that, then get ready to make separate community, so. I mean,
All those
you
are
wanna
on.
take that on.
Are all those on
Did you show
appropriation?
that thing?
You
that I-
can.
We gave everybody 5, but we only gave them 4 because that's all.
That's all they asked for.
Yeah.
I think we could have capped it at 5.
Yeah.
I think they should probably ask for 5 if they didn't get it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that's all, because I think I told Jimmy,
It's
I
hard to
said, Jimmy,
tell.
everybody else gets 5. 5-4's on there.
Because the mayor's been sitting in meetings where we,
Yeah.
used to come
Yeah.
there, he didn't miss a meeting for a long time. And we were 5.
So y'all, let me ask you this, we didn't give Lexington anything for the tractor pull this time, did we? Last time.
They didn't ask.
But they didn't, it's because they didn't, that's
I
good.
mean, that's simple. Ask to be shall or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they, did I understand, Brad, are they doing away with their,
I don't know, y'all, I'm gonna talk to them about that, but I don't know.
are they just gonna maybe reducing it to?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you sell your fire station.
That's the first I heard about that.
Yeah. Because I never heard that.
I know that they're real low.
Was that because of participation, Danny, as far as firemen? Why still?
Well, basically, Tommy Ritter was winning the ones. And I don't know what happened, but he's no longer with the fire department.
Really? But I still don't know if you say, who owns the building? Does the fire department itself own it?
Most of them do. Most of them own their own.
I'm assuming.
I mean, like they sell it.
Oh, so
something.
when you sell that, where does money go?
That's a good question. I was wondering that.
But
If you
what
sell
do
the
with your
building,
proceeds?
you'd be
Comes
selling
back
it.
to who?
To who?
To the, I would think to the station that sold it. It'd be like a good deal
What
type.
are you gonna do with it? You got no station.
He said
They got
station two.
they got another one. They're just selling one of the buildings.
Oh, they're just
Another.
closing one of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's closing.
Yeah, they said station
Which
two.
one?
Okay.
They said two.
That's south of town down there on 71.
I don't know
That's
which
right,
one it
I'm
is,
not
but he
sure.
did say station, he did say station two.
They're not closing the whole thing, you know.
Okay.
Oh, okay, well then, I'm assuming the first one is station
I
one.
would think so.
Up there in the tank.
That's
Well, he
the
needs to
way.
speak clearer. Couldn't understand that.
So we're good with
Yeah.
giving them 5
Yeah.
and keeping everybody on the.
Yeah.
This is something I talked to Brad a little bit about. It brought up some conversations we had with people on their appropriations and their requests. And we found these 2 sheets that kind of go over the list of who we appropriate to, and the amount. And then these is just a normal appropriation. These down here, it's appropriation, but we vote on those and do a resolution on them. So we kind of know where we stand with everything. But during budget season, when it comes time to approve the budget for next year, what I want to do is continue out that spreadsheet for the next year, but then everybody who's requesting something, attach their paperwork with it. And that way, y'all can kind of look over it and make the decision on what y'all want to do.
When we get into the budget type meetings, you know, I would like for us maybe to address some of these and that reevaluate.
I mean, wouldn't it, yeah.
Could you email us one of those? Aren't you kind?
Right.
Thank you. I appreciate your diligence.
Well,
Be good for me to do that with them, really the first time, so.
Well, that's when it comes time to budget, the different departments, I want to get them to the commission, let the commission look over
That's
them,
for
like
just
department by
special-
department, instead of
special
one time and
years.
overwhelm everybody.
Yeah.
That way y'all can attach
Yeah.
it, y'all can look at it, and sit down with the department heads too. Because I think there's some things that they would like for y'all to know about and see.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of being able to hear from them. I like the idea of knowing what the budget's been consistently for so many years. That way, when they ask, we kind of know kind of where they've been and how it's fluctuated.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Did you see that?
I've got that.
You got that?
Well, I've got, what's going on, Rick? Real quick, here's numbers. Is this about the same thing?
Wait more years, you got ready.
All about 30.
Half year in.
All right.
You know,
Are you finished with us?
Huh?
Are you finished with
Oh.
us? Might as well get it.
I did all everything. It's required.
If you're gonna go with 65th Street, it's cold.
Oh, you got all those, oh, you're very hot. I like me with a wool coat
Is the meeting adjourned?
Meeting adjourned.
till the 5 o'clock.